You know what
That's
I'm saying? So, I realized that once I was an adult, like, yo,
mm,
that's really something I wanted to do. So I went through high school. I started, I went to when I got to high school, I was like, yo, I want to join. What can I sign? And he's like, yo, you're too young. You know what I'm saying? So my dad was
wow.
like, yo, you tripping. So I started doing the whole thing. I played sports and all that, football, wrestling.
Yeah.
So once I got a junior, I was able to you know, become a pulley. So I
Yeah.
did. Um, the situation at home wasn't going too good, so I found it like the best way to get out. Since I always wanted to join the military, anyways, I was like, "Yo, I don't want to be home no more. I'm gonna join the military."
Mm,
And and that's when 9/11 hit, right? So 2003,
mm.
9/11 hit. We at
Was
school.
that
I
hold on?
was,
Was that before you joined or after?
yeah, no, before I joined.
Did that
So
shake
I was
you at all?
already. It shaped me, but it empowered me. It angered me, right? So it was like, yo, how can somebody do this to us, right? And I was like, you know what? That really solidified it there. 9/11 hit. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably a year away. I was sophomore going to junior year, and I
Mhm.
was like, yo, I'm joining, like for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? '01, I'm joining. I'm about to graduate in '04.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm dead.
So
So 9/11 was like that really lit the match, right? So I was like, told my dad, turned 17. I told my dad, I went to the recruiting office, got the paperwork. I said, hey, sign me. He was like, nah, I'm not signing you. I was like, sign me. It's either that or when I turn 18, I'm signing myself and you can't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, if you don't sign it, I'm gonna leave and you won't see me again. So I kind of gave him an ultimatum.
we
So
we ain't even gonna get into that tonight. That sounds like a
yeah,
whole other story. That we
oh, trust me, it was.
that's a whole
But
other story.
but it but that's
Yeah.
really what happened, right? So, and my dad, man, my dad went to the recruiting office, man, and my dad, I ain't gonna lie, man, my dad is 4 feet 11 inches. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? But this dude looked like Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm saying? When he come in, like he got that mouth. And you be like, damn, I didn't know this dude sound you know, like King Kong when he over. You know what I'm saying? So he went into the recruiting office. You trying to
Yeah.
brainwash my son? Da da da. Da. So he's
Mm.
like, yo, you really want to go? I was like, yeah, dad, I really want to go. I was like, all right, you know. So I joined the Marine Corps, did my thing, and went through school because you gotta choose a job to join the military. It's not just being infantry. Um, when you take the ASVAB test, they give you a number, and
Mm.
depending on how high you score, that's the type of job that you qualify for a certain amount of jobs, right? So I wanted to be a radio operator. I wanted to be
Mm.
a grunt with a backpack, right? But
Okay.
I scored too high. I scored too high on the test, right? So they was like, "Yo, no, man, you." I was like, "We can't lose." What I'm saying, a person of your caliber to just gunfire. Like we got to use your brain. So they put me as a generator operator and mechanic. So it's called electrical equipment repair specialist. So
Mm.
my job was pretty much to maintain and power up. I mean, I was a generator. I power up the command centers. I power up the medic the hospitals, the medevacs, the everything that needed importance. Right. I was the one that provided the power through the generator, maintained them, fixed them, and did all that while I was there. Um, I did my two tours in Iraq. One was in Al Qaim, Al Assad, TQ, Al Ramadi, and Fallujah. Those were the areas that I went to. So it was a good experience.
Yeah.
Um, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I seen a lot, but I don't trade it for nothing in the world. It actually um, made me love history even more. because one thing that a lot of people don't know, that Iraq is Babylon.
Huh.
So you you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yo, I was stepping in Babylon.
Wow. Yeah,
You
I
know what
didn't.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
is what Babylon used to be. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
So um imagine this is an area where historical and uh is parts of the Bible.
yeah.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah. Uh tell her I'm in an interview right now. I'll be right there.
Dad
My
work.
bad. Yeah, that work.
Dad
Um
work.
so yeah, so that really was really what opened my eyes. I was like, damn, you know,
Yeah,
uh God's people were here
yeah,
at a certain
yeah,
point,
yeah,
right? So and it went from there, you know. And when I got out, I joined the Army Reserves. I was an ammunition supply at that moment, um, and just did my time as reservist and got out
yeah.
and kept going. And we good.
So we'll definitely have to have you back on to go into that more, because one thing I learned from having my cousin Reg from the Sev on, and him talking about his tours, um, which he was out there at Operation Iraqi Freedom as well, is that there's a lot of layers. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's a lot of layers. There's what you um, what you expected. There's what you experienced. There's what you were told. There's what you realized. There's what you walked away with.
yeah,
There's, you know what I mean? There's sights and smells and sounds that um you'll never forget. And so I know that there's a robust amount of detail lying in that space of those 10 years in the armed service. But for today, I will say salute you for your service, soldier. We appreciate you.
appreciate it.
Um, and I do want to get into this history that we've been teetering around. I wanted people to kind of
Right.
get a background of you, and I think they understand you a little more now. They understand kind of where you've been, in the United States, and where your father's from, and your nationality and serving in the war, and that's a good basis to, buy you some credibility, at least for today. So, so
Oh man.
with that being said, um, we were in the shop one day,
Yeah.
and we got into this conversation about the slave trade moving first through Puerto Rico,
Yes.
before slaves made it to America. Now, of course, history never told us that in our books. I don't know what they were in Puerto Rico, but here we ain't hear nothing about that.